we will be exploring the characteristic of life. So the characteristic of life here we have Mr. Ninja Black. I'm going through them one after the other right now. First one we have here is movement. And when we say movement, movement just has to do with locomotion, change the position of an organism. And this change in position of an organism can be as a result of stimulus or starch of food. And when it as a result of stimulus can be characterized into three basic ways. We have the nastism, we have the tropism, and we have the tactical movement or tactism. I get now tactism is where the organism is moving the whole body in response to the stimulus. But tropism is when only a part of the organism is moving in response to a directional stimulus. Why when you get the word nastism? Nastism occurs when the organism is moving in relation, just a part of its body in relation to what? To a non-directional stimulus. That's that for movement. Then we'll go to the next one, R, production. Production has to do with the ability of an organism to give birth to its young one. I get it now of the same species. The organism has to be of the same species. I get it now. So when an organism gives birth, it passes genetic traits that bears or controls characteristics of the organism. Pass it to this offspring. I get it now. And when it passes it to the offspring gets through certain behavioral similarities and that of parent. I get it now. So that's the production. Nutrition has to do with taking in of food substances that contain nutrients. Taking in of food substances that contain nutrients, which aids the growth and development and aids both body metabolism. Then we have irritability and sensitivity. Irritability and sensitivity just deals with the ability of organisms to respond to what? To stimulus. Ability of organisms to respond to stimulus. And then we have growth. Growth refers to the irreversible increase in size and weight of an organism. The irreversible increase in size and weight of an organism. When you are growing, you develop both mentally and physically. Then excretion has to do with the removal of toxic metabolic waste. I get even now substances from the body of an organism. Note that this excretion is not the same as elimination. Elimination has to do with the removal of undigested food substances. The removal of undigested food substances. Then we have respiration. Respiration right here is a series of gaseous exchange processes that aid in breaking down organic compounds to lead to the formation of energy, which aids the adenosine triphosphate. I get you now. The lifespan is just the period between the birth and death of an organism. That is the natal period or the natal point to the mortal point of the organism. Then we have adaptation. These are this is the ability of an organism to tolerate, I get it now, unfavorable conditions in its environment. Then we have competition, which is actually terminology introduced or expatiated or explored by our scholar Charles Darwin, which contributed to evolutionary theory and postulated the theory of natural selection, where it made mention of what? Survival of the fittest. All organisms are constantly competing with one another, either intracellularly or intercellularly. Are you getting me now? And this competition is intercellular when organisms of different species are competing. Like, for example, species of dog competing with species of lion. That's interspecific and it can be as a result of space. But intraspecific is when organisms of these species are competing. For example, lions competing for a mate partner. That's an intraspecific competition. Let's come in now. We have scientific methods. Now, when we hear the word scientific methods, then we're talking about a model that has been built or designed to aid in scientific study. I get it, to study scientific problems and bring about solutions. And this model was introduced by a man referred to as Sir Francis Bacon. Are you getting me? And the procedures of the scientific method follows this sequence. The first thing that we have is the identification of the problem. You have to be able to identify the problem. Are you getting me now? Because before you can solve the problem, you have to know what the problem is. Then analyze and obtain data from that problem region. Then you analyze that data to yield useful information that can be important, and then measurement and classification. Before you have hypotheses. Hypotheses are scientific guesses. And when you say something is scientific guesses, or when you say something is a guess, it automatically means that that thing is subjected to being wrong. I get it. So an hypothesis can be wrong, or it can be correct. The experiment tells us if it's wrong or right based on the testing. So it means it's uncertain, and hypothesis is carried out deductively. Induction just has to do with moving from the specific, from the generalist to the specific. From generalist to the specific. Then experimentation follows this 5-system order I refer to as A square more. The first A stands for the aim of the experiment. And when you talk about the aim of the experiment, we are talking about why are you carrying out this experiment? What was your purpose for carrying out the experiment? Then we now have your apparatus. The apparatus has to do with the instrument that is required to carry out this experiment. Then you now have your method. Your method has to do with the procedures that you need. The procedures and the techniques that you need to follow to carry out the experiment successfully. And while carrying out those experiments using the methods, you have to observe, that is taking note of important changes, significant events that occur during the experimentation. Before you now use that to conclude, your conclusion is actually an attestation to what was observed during the experiment. Are you getting that? Either affirming the hypothesis or disproving the hypothesis. And when an hypothesis has been tested and found true, the hypothesis becomes a theory. And when does it become a law? When it's generally accepted and can be physically applied and validated. Are you getting me now? And every law has a reader. Every law has a reader that guides it. And when you say reader, that reader can usually stand as the constant. Reader can usually stand as the constant. Are you getting me now? For example, Boyle's law says that volume of a fixed mass of gas directly inversely proportional to the pressure. I guess now, but remember that there is a constant there when temperature is dead constant. That's the reader controlling it. The law of gravity says that anything that goes up must surely come down. But you know when you leave out this Earth, gravitational Earth region, you will find out that that law doesn't work. So there's always a reader that controls the law. So that's why we have there that every law is confined to reader as called its constants. Now we have origin of organic molecules. Now the origin of organic molecules all began from what we call a colossal explosion. I get it now. A colossal explosion. A colossal explosion that first led to the formation of stars. I get it now. Stars were formed and those stars exploded again, leading to the formation of planetary bodies. I get what I'm saying now. So those planetary bodies also were found to explode, and the debris led to the formation of organic compound that later started growing to become living organisms. So that's the origin, hypothetically. And the whole of what was explained here is referred to as the Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory. Now we come here. These organic complexes that were formed aggregates that form polysaccharides, which resulted in the formation of what we call proteins. Yes. Then the proteinoids further divide or combine, form the first cell, which we refer to as the protocell. And that's a very important question that you can be asked in your TEP. The first cells are referred to as that. I refer to as the protocells. Now, the first cells store their genetic information in organic compounds or organic molecules. That's a very important point. Why the modern cell stores it in their DNA, their deoxyribonucleic acid. I get it now. The last thing we talk about the organization of life. The organization of life actually begins from atoms. Atoms come together from molecules. Molecules form the organelles, which are those structures present in the cell. Then those organelles form the cells. I get it now. Then the cell itself, performing similar functions, come together from tissue. Then tissue to organs. Then from organs, you have the system. Then from systems, different systems such as the respiratory system, reproductive system, circulatory, integrate themselves together to form an individual or the integrated unit. Then series of individuals of the same species will form the population. That's why we say population can be defined as the total number of organisms of the same species that is present in a particular geographical location at a particular time. That's what we call the population. Then we have the biotic community. When we say the biotic community, the biotic community just has the variation of populations of organisms interacting with one another. Are you getting me now? Then when you say the ecosystem, that's the largest of the organization of life. And I think that's where we're going to stop for your first lecture. The next thing that you have on your lecture is cells of biological macromolecules. So we will actually be exploring more of those things. We'll talk about mitosis and meiosis. We'll talk about mitosis and meiosis. So if you have any problem pertaining to what I've done right here, you can actually ask me and reach me on this number here. I get me now. Ask your question, drop your question, and I'll be sending a response to them through other video lectures. I get me now. So make sure you read, aim high, think a very good target, plan, prepare yourself, and actually be determined and be consistent so that you can come out with flying colors in your exams that you are about to write. All right, we wish you good luck. Stop it.